and welcome to episode 102 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
And hello.
Hello.
Listen, it has been a long time for us since
yeah.
we've sat here and actually recorded a podcast.
It has been about 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, at the very, very least, it's definitely been 2, right?
No, it's been more than 2.
Because when did we... Because obviously we tried our best to keep the schedule like going through Christmas as we could, and
which we did a good job of.
We did an amazing job of.
It was very hard, but we did do it.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone. I say this every time that we're like, oh, we're pre-recording so we can keep on schedule. Every single time we say that, so many of you are like, by the way, if you ever need like some time off or a break for whatever reason, like just take it, and that's fine. And you know what? We know for a fact we can. I mean, we've just taken this Monday off, right?
Yeah. We took our second episode off ever. Yeah. Just because, to be fair, last week, because we were getting ready for stream. Yeah. It was like just a lot of things. Like streaming, like doing this, it's just like you set the camera up, you set the audio up, you film it, and then you edit it afterwards.
Exactly.
But with, like live streaming on Twitch, there's like overlays and extensions and widgets,
and you have to get like the
actual
bidgets, like the go on fidgets. Go on
digits. And there's all these crazy wild things that you need to do.
It's very upfront, I feel like, streaming. Yeah. And I feel like filming a video like this is very like back front, what's the word? Like back heavy. Yeah. It's like you record and then most of it comes afterwards, like the TikToks come afterwards. The editing and the color correction, etc., and the thumbnail, etc. Whereas with streaming, it's completely the other way around, right?
Because it's live.
Yeah, you have to have everything ready, like for the get-go.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a really nice segment on to thank you so much to everyone who came to our first stream on Sunday.
And if you didn't come, what was that about? And he didn't come. Join us live every Friday and every Sunday at 7 p.m. GMT. I don't know what time that is for you. You figure that out. But come and join us live on Twitch. It was unbelievable.
Oh my god, it was amazing. Oh my god, it was like
unbelievably good.
Yeah,
so much fun.
Well, first of all, if you weren't there, we and if you don't know much about Twitch, because we didn't, you can have followers,
Gridgets.
Yes, you can have followers and subscribers. And followers are people like how you follow us here on YouTube, which thank you very much. And subscribers are people who pay a monthly fee. There's 3 tiers, and you get like extra stuff for stream, right? You get extra emojis, extra emotes and stuff like that. Emojis. How old am I?
Emojis. Gadgets.
We had a goal for having 10 subs.
10 subs.
By January.
Yeah, we were like, this whole month, if we get to the end of the month and we get 10 people...
10
people have paid £5 to, not get ads and get access to the cool new emotes and stuff like that on Twitch. We were like, that'll be a rip-roaring success for us.
10 subs. And we actually, before we even started streaming, God, the love you guys showed us before we even started streaming, we had, 8 subs before we went live.
Yeah, and we were like, we only need 2.
Go on, tell him.
116.
What? I can't swear. What on earth?
116 or something like that subs. Wild.
Unbelievable. Oh my god.
Most wild thing. Over 100 people came and joined us.
Oh my god.
At one point, which is just insane.
Shocking. And you know what? Every single time we do something like this, like when we released the Discord, when we released merch, this announcement, every single time we're like, oh yeah, well, even if just someone shows up, that'll be good. I think we far underestimate the power of the Squad Blast.
I think
totally honest with you.
And like it's a bit of that whole stuff of like you don't want to get your hopes up because then if it doesn't happen, so it's like okay, we'll set the goals like low, and then if we like achieve it, amazing. Yeah. But to like achieve it by like 11 times,
I know, unbelievable
in the first like half an hour of the stream.
And listen. I'm going to say it now. The first half hour of that stream, a whirlwind.
Just a
blackout whirlwind. Like, so much was happening. And I feel kind of bad because obviously we went back after and said thank you to everyone. Yeah. Because there was subs, there was follows, there was bits, there was gifted subs. Thank you so much to everyone who gifts subs.
Whatever all of us mean.
Jeez, that's so incredibly kind of you. We reached a level 11 hype train. Still don't know
what that means.
Still don't fully know what that means.
I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? If you know what that means, tell me.
I don't.
Please.
But honestly, truly, oh my god, thank you so much. The love that you show us is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Truly unbelievable.
Unfathomable from my brain.
Unfathomable. And we're really, really, really grateful.
Yeah.
And yeah,
we appreciate every single person who supports us in any way. You don't have to be a sub.
Oh my God,
just
no.
the fact like that you would just come and sit with us.
The fact that you actually... Because I think we had a peak of 97 people watching us, which is insane.
Which is wild.
And then I think kind of we ended on like 50-something, which is insane. It is insane.
The fact that you stayed around for 4 hours.
I know. Because we went over time, obviously. Of course we did.
And like... Yeah, we did a little campaign update.
Yes.
And we were going to do some games and stuff like that, but to be honest, we were just chatting.
Yeah.
We were just chatting, people were asking questions.
Just and chatting and just kind of getting used to...
Switch in general.
Yeah, getting used to it and understanding. Listen, we had some technical difficulties.
We had a few technical difficulties, but Margaret figured it out during stream because she's got the largest brain on earth.
Thank you. No, I just clicked loads of buttons at the same time and I was like, oh.
She just did that on the keyboard.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's probably the issue. And it turns out it was. Yeah, we...
For all of those on Twitch.
Oh.
Hand.
How did that become such a thing?
Because
so quickly.
Basically, the camera turned off, and then we turned the camera back on, and like our like
lighting was all weird.
Our color settings had changed, so it looked a little bit washed out. So someone was like, "You just need to put your hand in front of it." So I was just sat there for ages going,
hand.
But
yeah, the first stream was basically just chatting. We did a campaign update. Apart from that, it was just chatting. And going forward, there is probably going to be more structure to them. But
yeah, I don't know how you know. Well, the thing is, I think we'll commit to doing like one thing per stream. Like we'll do some character creation, or we'll do some advice, or we'll just like do a Q&A or something like that, and then we'll just like hang out with you and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there was just we talked about everything from pizza. Yeah, from pineapple on pizza to why The Last of Us is one of the greatest stories on earth. And just we just and it was just so amazing to like talk to.
It was so nice.
Because the Discord's amazing because you're all there and I get to see you and all your opinions. But I don't get to like
actually chat to you.
Me to you, Margaret to you.
Yeah, it felt like if you joined the Discord in the early days when we used to go in the chats, like the voice chats and hang out and play like Minecraft and Valheim together. Yeah. It felt like that. Yeah. It felt like being able to actually get to know you like not one-on-one, but get to know you on a more personal level than, us recording a video, you commenting after the fact, and us commenting after the fact. Yeah. And the same with Discord. It felt amazing. It felt so good.
So great. So amazing.
Left feeling very invigorated, very positive.
Can't wait for Friday.
Oh my God, can't wait literally tomorrow for you.
Yeah.
Please
you get this,
come and join
and then
us.
You get another couple of hours, 3 to 4 hours tomorrow.
Insane. So thank you. Thank you for showing up for us every time. I guess off the back of that, we did do a campaign update.
We did, yes.
And thank you so much to everyone who interacted in the campaign update. It was amazing. Did we not click the save VOD button? Maybe.
Potentially
that's what happened.
That might have been something that we did.
Potentially we didn't click the button.
So we were like, yeah, VOD, we're gonna clip the VOD for YouTube so the people who didn't get to watch it live can watch it on YouTube. Yeah. That would happen if we had the VOD.
If we'd clicked the button.
But
we don't.
We don't have the VOD. So we're gonna have to re-record it for you. So it's not gonna have Twitch chat on it or anything like that because we don't have it.
Because it wasn't live. I'm so sad that it didn't, because the Twitch chat was we were obviously interacting and we showed like a couple of videos and stuff. Like I wish we had it, but such is life.
Yeah, it happens. These things happen. You live, you learn.
Yeah,
you
thrive.
Know
what? We clicked the button. We clicked the button since.
One's been clicked.
So we'll have it. So the plan is we're going to do the campaign update on stream every Friday.
Yeah.
We're going to then upload that separate video onto YouTube every Wednesday. Yeah. So you're getting it the day that we play it, but like a week in arrears.
The week in arrears.
Yeah. Will the campaign updates stay on stream? I don't know.
Don't know if people like it, if we think there's a better place for it, no.
Yeah. But I think no matter what, it will still be a separate video.
Yes.
Whether it stays on stream, I don't know. That's something that we're just going to have to see over the course of the next couple of months.
Being Twitchers.
Being
professional streamers. Professional podcasters and professional streamers now.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I also finally want to say thank you so much to our mods who showed up for us. You guys really, man, you took away a lot of the stress for us.
Because it was stressful.
It was stressful.
While it was amazing fun, it was for the first time it was stressful.
Because we had no idea what we were doing. In the same way that the first few podcasts we did.
The beautiful thing was our mods had almost no idea what they were doing either. Yeah. But they
behind the scenes, they were also like
they were struggling on through with us, and they did a great job. So big up to the mods.
Thank you to our mods. Our Discord mods are the same mods that we have on Twitch.
We might get more Twitch mods. You know, with people in the community who are obviously always there and like always like. You know, keeping our values and you know, respecting each other and stuff like that, then we'll probably get some more Twitch mods as we go.
Totally. So you are going to get on Wednesday a campaign update video in some form.
So keep
an eye out for it. All right? Keep an eye out for it.
Keep an eye out for it. If your eyes aren't out,
then
what are you doing?
Out them. Entity.
Out your eyes.
Remove their eyes.
Yes.
Thank you.
And make them watch for the VOD.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my God. Take both eyes out, put one eye here, one eye on the VOD.
Correct.
And then find another one and put it on the Twitch.
Yeah. And then find another one, put it on the TikTok.
Yes.
And when you've got 4 eyes and they're all in the right place.
Yeah. Then come back.
Then come back here.
Then talk to me.
Yeah.
Then hit me up.
Shout out to the entity.
Oh.
Shout out to the entity.
Cheers.
A new year for the entity.
A new year. Exciting things for the entity.
Exciting things for the entity happening this year.
Yep.
Keep your eyes peeled. Keep a 5th eye on the entity.
Keep the 5th eye on the entity.
Get 5 eyes.
Get 5 eyes.
Why have you not got 5 eyes?
Oh my God. You don't have 5 eyes?
I feel like you're letting us down.
Yeah, damn.
I don't want to say you're not doing enough.
Yeah. Get 5 eyes.
But I feel like you're not doing enough.
Yeah. Shall we kind of give a brief update on how we spent our Christmas period, and then we'll kind of move on?
It's pretty brief. It's pretty brief. So what we did was we woke up. If I had to do a TikTok, I would edit a TikTok. I'd walk the dog. And then we play Valorant. Yeah. And that was really
That was actually it. We had so many plans. Listen, I hit up our personal Discord and I was like, hey, let's play this game, let's play this game, let's play this game. And everyone reluctantly was like, fine, whatever you want to do. We'll didn't do any of it. We played Valorant. We literally played Valorant over and over. I went through like weird peaks and troughs with Valorant. Valorant, man, if you want to destroy your self-confidence, by the way, play Valorant.
Yeah.
If you just want to be knocked down a peg, play Valorant, because it'll do that to you.
I'm 1 game off gold.
Yeah, I got into bronze. I got bronze.
To be fair, yesterday like today, I think today is the last game of the season, but I don't know if I'll get to play before the season then. So basically, yesterday I was like, I need 1 game to get in gold. We got in a game and there was a Cypher on our team, and our friend is like a Cypher main. He's really great at Cypher.
Yeah,
he plays Cypher really well.
Big up Wab Cypher.
Yeah, you don't have to think about that site because he holds it down, and you know if he dies, it's like, okay, now we need to go.
Yeah.
And then somebody picked Cypher and couldn't play the Cypher.
But you know what? That's fine.
Whinging.
Yeah, by the way, that's fine. If you don't know how to play an agent, that's fine. But you know when it's not okay? When you're screaming over the mic and just being so annoying and so rude.
You're the one who is currently letting the team down. But you know, like some people are at different skill levels, that's fine. But it's like when you're an asshole
when you're being an asshole,
man, let's fucking stop that. Totally. So basically, I didn't get into silver thanks to that Cypher. So cheers to that Cypher.
Cheers.
Didn't get in gold.
Cheers. Sorry, we had to cut out because the dog's obviously crying.
Scream crying.
My God!
First stop of 2024.
First stop of 2024.
Let's
go.
And
also the whole stream that he was on, screaming. Just so you know, the whole stream our dog was screaming in the background.
It's alright on Twitch though because I can get up and leave.
You can actually deal with him. Yeah,
I'm next to the edge of the screen where I can just get up and leave and get out and help him. He doesn't need any help.
No, he doesn't. By the way, nothing.
There's just the metal fence in between me and him. We're about 1.5 foot away from each other.
If that.
But the fact that there's the metal gate in the way, because I have to have the metal gate in the way because there's hot floodlights at the back, and if he touches them, he'll get upset.
It will
hurt him,
yeah,
and I don't want that to happen to him.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm trying to keep him out for his sake, but he's like, wah, daddy, wah.
Yeah. I can't even remember what I was going to say.
We're talking about the fact that I didn't get into gold because of Cypher.
Oh no! I was going to say, normally on our Christmas break, we watched a Lord of the Rings trilogy. We watched Fellowship of the Ring
recently,
the other day.
Only the other day.
We watched the extended edition.
Yeah, unreal.
Which you said this absolutely the real true version.
The real true version. Do you know the point in Lord of the Rings where they go to the they've come out of the Khazad-dûm, the dwarven place where they see the Balrog.
Yeah, the
Look,
mines.
It's 21 years later or something. It's 22, 3 years later. If you haven't seen it now, you're probably not going to watch it.
Yeah.
They come out of Khazad-dûm and then they meet the elves when they go into the forest.
They meet Galadriel.
And then they meet Galadriel. There's like an entire part of that they just cut out.
Huge part.
And like
of that elf city.
It now just makes. It's not that it makes more sense because I don't think it didn't make sense in the movie, but the context.
Yeah. Oh my god.
There's so much more context.
God, completely. Yeah, really great movie. And listen, every time Boromir, and listen again, yeah, everyone knows Boromir fucking dies, right? Man, that shit hurts.
Yeah.
Do you know what also really hurts? That as I get older and I watch them more, because like they were movies I watched as a kid, right? Yeah. And then I've watched them like intermittently throughout my life, but properly watched them since we've been together. Is the pain I feel for Frodo?
Yeah,
I feel a lot of pain for him.
Just a hobbit.
Yeah, just a kid.
Just wanted to stay in the Shire and live his life.
Yeah.
With his Uncle Bilbo.
Yeah, and it's the setting up to him getting the ring and seeing that he's just carefree. I don't really know how young Frodo is supposed to be, but he's so carefree and innocent and, loves his life. And then this huge thing gets thrust upon him and he chooses to act on it. And the pity I feel for Frodo is horrible. And I used to be one of those kids who was like, Frodo's a baby.
Frodo's a fucking baby.
Oh my god, Frodo, get a grip. But no, I feel tremendous sorrow for him, and that I cried through like the whole movie.
And it's like I think it's mad because it's done over 3 movies. Like you don't see it so much because in the first one, in the beginning, he is this really like happy-go-lucky, like laughing, smiling person. And then as you go on,
people wear him down. By the way,
people wear him down. Like the ring wears him down, and like he is like a broken person at the
Even
end.
towards the end of the movie, the scene where Galadriel is like, you know what you have to do. You know you have to do this alone, by the way. Don't trust anyone apart from yourself. You can see he's like, damn, man, I think she's right. And he has to force himself to be this really cold person. And then Sam, thank God. See, just what amazing storytelling. And I feel like, again, when I was a kid, I was like, why is Frodo being so weird? Because, I don't know, maybe the crushing weight of everything on his shoulders.
The crushing weight of Middle-earth.
Yeah. And, a ring that has poisoned people since the beginning of its inception. Maybe as a 30-year-old woman now, I can see that. But tangent, but yeah.
But like, that's it, though, because you see in the first one, by the time the second one happens, you're like, he's just a bit of a souse now.
Yeah.
He's just a bit of a misery now.
Yeah, no.
And it's just like because the separated into like different movies, it's harder to see that.
Very much so.
That
progression. Yeah, totally. I agree. But yeah, that's kind of all we've done over Christmas break.
Valorant, one Lord of the Rings movie.
Feeling very refreshed.
Oh, unbelievably refreshed.
Yeah. It got towards the end of our time off. We extended the time off. That's why we kind of took Monday off for a video. And I was like, God, I'm not feeling refreshed at all, but the extra week has really really helped, and we're going into 2024 feeling positive, aren't we?
Yeah. And like, because there's a lot of like social pressure around Christmas.
Yes.
And a lot of people like ask you to do things.
A lot of people want a lot of things from you.
And this time we were just like, no.
Simply no.
Actually,
Simply not.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, we had a friend Christmas. We had fake Christmas with our friends, which was amazing. Party. Such good fun. It always is. You cook a delicious feast.
I got betrayed at Christmas by Margaret and Abby.
Oh my God! Don't say that because she's gonna. Oh my God!
Abby, just know that I will.
Oh my God!
Never forgive
oh my God! I don't know how you dare. Oh my God! Have you ever played the game? What's it called? Saboteur, where you're dwarves mining and it's like Among Us. It's like werewolf. It's like werewolf.
Yeah.
Jack. Oh my God. Jack and Abby went to war. I've never seen Abby that mad in my life. Oh my God, she was like trembling.
I was the saboteur, and Abby found out that I was the saboteur because I turned over the gold and it was actually coal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's the gold. And basically, Abby was the only one that knew, so I just had to go to war with Abby.
You went to war with Abby, and Abby was like, I'm so frustrated because I know you're lying. It's so funny. If you want to break friendships apart, play that game.
And then literally, one of the last rounds we played, Abby is the worst liar on earth. She turned over a card and she was like, I'm not the saboteur. And she was like, and everyone was like, okay, we know you're the saboteur. Let's just get to the gold.
I didn't read that.
And me and Matthew were like, right, let's get there. And we thought you were on board as well. We get to one from the gold, and I'm like, Margaret, play me in. I can get us in, and we can win the gold. Otherwise, Abby will win. And you blocked me.
Yeah,
and
I
then
did.
Abby just got in and gold.
I didn't see that. You know what? I didn't see that betrayal.
So I was betrayed by the love of my life, and I was betrayed by a great friend of mine. And there we go. And that was my Christmas.
Well, yeah, that's what Christmas is all about, right? That's what it's all about. Well. Yeah, that's literally all we did.
That's about it.
That's all we did.
I hope you had a lovely Christmas time.
Yes, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas period. I'm aware that you've seen quite a few videos from us since Christmas and New Year.
We have not recorded a single thing.
We haven't physically.
Since about the middle of December.
Yeah, since like what, December 10th?
14th,
maybe? Something like that. It's been a long time for us. I guess the last thing we have to talk about is I was going to hold off until the campaign update, but I don't want to hold off. And I want to show you, I've been holding on to this for so long.
A very long time.
I want to show you my new character, Blythe, and I want to show you the artwork that I got.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Because I don't think you're ready because...
You aren't, because it's that good.
Oh my God. So, I would like to...
Here she is.
Oh my God, look at her. Isn't she the most? and then not only this, by the way, are you ready? Boom. There's two versions of her.
Oh God.
I know. Oh my God. And I bet you're sat there going, oh my God, that's the coolest artwork I've ever seen in my life.
And you would be correct.
And you would be completely correct. Who did that? Please let me put you onto this artist. So, Roberto, their Instagram handle is Rowan Tor. I will, of course, leave all of the links below.
Mm-hmm.
By far, and you know, this is no shade to any of the artists I've worked with. All the artists I've worked with have been amazing for commissions. Roberto specifically was so incredibly attentive, so passionate, so interested. You could tell that he really cared about the work he was putting out for me. Was very flexible. I have sent so many people
Roberto's way.
Yeah, because
Roberto now has a queue.
Yeah. Well, good, because his
Roberto
artwork
deserves a queue.
Yeah. Oh my God, his artwork is absolutely incredible. His service is incredible. Please, if at the very least, please go give him a follow on Instagram and show some support.
The least we can do is lift these artists up in the community that do such a fantastic job.
Our friend Courtney, she's got a commission and she's shown us the line work.
Unbelievable.
Amazing. Jordan is in queue. Abby's in queue, and Matthew's going to be in queue as well. I think Sherry's in queue as well.
That's 6 people.
Yeah. So please, oh my God, I've been saying this for months. Cannot recommend this artist enough.
Roberto deserves it.
Oh my God, 100%.
100%.
Oh my God, 100%.
I mean, look.
Fucking look at
her.
Look at the fucking state of her. Oh my God. So let me just talk you through a little bit. I just want to give you a little bit of information about Blythe because I love her. We have had our first session, obviously.
Yeah.
She is, despite how she looks, she is a swords bard. I don't know if I've updated you on this. She was going to be Vengeance Paladin.
Yeah.
Didn't want it. Swords bard.
Played it in a one shot.
Didn't enjoy
like it anywhere near as much as you enjoyed the swords bard.
Indeed.
Yeah.
She is a swords bard. We've started the campaign at level 3. The little guy with her, his name is Balthazar.
Yeah.
And he is her pet dog. Mechanically, fuck all. He does nothing mechanically, right? He's just a nice little fun guy. I'm hoping at some point I can multi-class and make him useful somehow, or a magic item will make him useful somehow, but I just wanted him for like the companionship because that suits Blythe's character.
Yeah.
Her build is I plan multi-class. I don't know actually. I don't know if I plan on multi-classing her out.
We had a look, didn't we? And you were like almost heart set on multi-classing.
Yeah.
And then we looked at it, and then you were like, I don't know if I will. Yeah, so I think we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Down the line.
Yeah.
But currently, she's dual wielding.
Yes.
Rapier and scimitar because you're waiting for your feet next level.
Exactly.
At level 4.
At level 4, I will actually take dual wielder because swords bards don't get extra attack until level 6. So when I get to level 6, I will have 3 attacks. But to tide me over 5th level when everyone else has multi-attack, I say everyone else, Josh, because he plays a monk. It's a nice in-between, right? And you let us have access to 1 D&D level 1 feats, and I took tough just for the extra hit points.
Yeah.
And that's her. I don't want to say too much because we'll give you a proper campaign update.
Yeah, and the campaign updates will come and with the story and the backstory and all sorts.
But I love her. I have a really good sense of self with her. Not that I didn't with Rayla, but I have a very strong sense of self with Blythe. The rest of the party are amazing. Oh my God, it's so exciting.
And you'll have to check the campaign update to hear about them.
Yes, if you would like to hear about it, please check our campaign update.
And what happened in the first session.
And please go give Roberta some...
Give Roberta some love, get a commission if you want. Yes. Follow Instagram if just to show some support to fantastic artists.
Oh my God.
In the TTRPG community.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's about it, right? Yeah. I think that's it. Shall we get on to topic?
Let's do it, baby.
All right, you've seen the title.
Are you ready? You've been... I've been waiting to do this for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, so...
You've been
waiting for about 3 weeks and 26 minutes.
No, well, you've been waiting a week.
Yeah,
you only missed Monday's
we only
episode,
missed Monday. True.
So
the Entity, I saw the Entity take out your 6th eye and put it on the title.
Yes.
So you can see that we're doing horror and wholesome stories.
And wholesome stories.
Yay! No! Oh my God. Are you ready? I'm absolutely obsessed with that Dancing Toothless to Electric Fail song.
Dancing Toothless
slaps.
Really the only vibe.
Agreed.
It's the only vibe that anyone could ever really need.
Agreed. Yeah. Oh my God.
I learned how to do dance.
You did. We saw like a dance, not a dance troupe.
A dance platoon.
Yeah.
A dancing squadron.
A dance group.
A dance squadron.
A dance squad. Yeah. Dance
squadron. A murder of dancers.
Oh my God. Anyone else? A pride of dancers. A gaggle.
A gaggle of dancers. A smorgasbord of dancers.
Oh my God. And they
Tell me what you call them. Group of dancers.
You had to do the dance and you do it all the time.
Yeah.
And, what were we saying?
We're getting on the topic. But we just wanted to talk about Dancing Toothless.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be us. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, all right. Just in case.
If you're not doing the dance.
Who are you?
Why are you not
Entity
doing the
make
dance?
them
Learn
dance.
how to do the dance, yeah.
So, yes, we are doing horror and wholesome D&D stories.
We sure are, baby.
Listen, I finally sorted out the submission forms.
Yes.
Look, you know how I was like, I've sorted them out? Didn't.
I
simply didn't.
Thought you did.
Didn't. So
now, everywhere you can look at our...
Apart from on Spotify, so if you're a Spotify listener...
Come to YouTube and submit a story.
Or go to our link tree.
Go to the link tree and submit a story.
Submit it through there, because I will go through them, but like 100 odd videos is a lot to go through right now.
Yeah.
I have sorted out the submission form. Listen, I am pulling submissions from left, right, and centre. But thank you.
They might be old, they might be new.
Who knows? Not me. Truly not me. But you know what? Because we stopped filming, I was like, oh yeah, well the podcast is on pause. No, you guys have obviously been sending in loads of submissions.
Because obviously we've been still releasing loads of videos.
Yeah, so thank you very, very much. Yeah. These are all submissions.
Oh, every single one?
Every single one is a submission. We are going to go, once again, we're going to start with a horror, end on a wholesome, and we're going to alternate them so they don't feel as bad.
Yeah. Thank you very much for all your submissions.
Thank you so much.
You beautiful people.
Thank you so very much. So, shall we just go?
Give it to me.
All right, number 1. This has been sent in by Starless from the Discord, and he goes by he, they.
By who?
Starless.
Starless?
Yes.
Thank you, Starless.
Thank you so much,
from
Starless.
the Discord.
Thank you. Hello, Margaret, Jack, and fellow blasters. I'm Starless, he, they, and this horror story is about the very first campaign I was part of. Sorry in advance for any clutter of nonsense here. Storytelling isn't my strong suit. Don't listen.
It's okay.
It's all good.
Sorry, because it's in the hands of Margaret now, so it will be told very well.
Yes.
You do. I feel like you read them very well.
Thank you. You know what? I will give myself that. I think I am good at reading out loud.
You juice the stories.
Oh, thank you.
You give them juice.
Yeah, I think I am good at reading out loud.
You give them the sauce. You just pour a little bit of sauce.
Oh my God. Go on.
What?
Show me.
You're fucking tipping the sauce all over them. You're like, people are giving you the words. They're giving you like the steak.
Yeah.
And you're like dressing it with the sauce.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll give a small introduction and then name some highlights that have stuck with me throughout the years. Back in 2018, I received my very own player's handbook for some friends and was immediately eager to play. A good friend of mine from middle school caught wind of this and asked if I wanted to join him and some friends at their table. I jumped at this opportunity, not knowing when I would get to play otherwise. After a short introduction to their current situation and the story, I decided to make a grave domain cleric based on Norse culture and follower of Hela.
Yeah, very cool.
Very nice. A few sessions later is where the first problems started arising. In brackets, and yes, Margaret, I will be numbering them for you.
Yeah,
thanks, Starless.
Very good.
So, 1.
Yeah.
While using milestone leveling, I joined at level 5 into a level 5 to 6 party. The campaign ended with me at 5 and them at 9 to 10.
Okay, well, that's not good.
2. There was no stat minimum with rolled stats. My only positive modifier, including normal human stat bonuses, was wisdom at 16, and other players had 2 to 3 17 pluses in each stat.
So you need a minimum.
I know, I know.
You need a minimum.
I feel like this is why, like, this is the exact example of why people don't like rolled stats.
Yeah,
right?
Because people are like, oh, but then I'll just have like all mid as fuck stats, and it's like, well, that's because you need a minimum.
Yeah, agreed.
And then some people are like, well, then if we've got so many rules, maybe we should use standard array. And it's like, but standard array doesn't feel good enough. I think, you do the stats the way you want to do the stats.
Yeah.
If you like point by, play point by. If you like standard array, play standard array. You play whatever you want, but if you're going to play rolled, all you need to do is have a minimum.
Yeah, true.
That's all you need to do.
I feel like a common thing is, well, you're just making so many rules on top of a rule, and it's like, it's one thing.
It's a minimum.
It's literally one. It's not even a rule. It's literally one number.
All we need to do is add our stats up, and if they're below the minimum, we just roll it in.
Yeah, I know.
That's all we need to do.
Number 3.
Oh. It's a plane.
It's a plane. Sorry.
There's a plane outside.
Listen, planes don't pass over here very often at all.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, we've got an airport just over there.
Yeah, not over here, though. Or maybe I just don't hear them.
Maybe you just don't hear them.
That was really loud.
It wasn't that loud.
3. 3. A DM... Look at how weird my hand looks when I do that.
Number 3.
Ew.
What?
Look
Yeah,
how
the
weird.
hand doesn't look that weird.
3.
Interesting.
A DMPC that overruled our decisions, blackmailed us into following his every whim, and in combat had a 24 AC and used a glyph of warding stones enchanted with a level 5 plus offensive spells as if he was feeding bread to some birds. 4. As a cleric, I was only allowed to change my spells before the session started, and I had to notify him, I'm assuming the DM, of every change, otherwise I could not use that spell. For some still unknown reason, I was part of this campaign for over a year. Then player conflict broke out and the group fell apart. Thankfully, I'm now part of a group which makes me excited for every single session, and I have begun to DM a Witchlight campaign for my partner and some other friends.
Very good.
Absolutely love the Podblast and this community it has created.
We love you.
Hopefully this first story was enjoyable because I have plenty more cheers.
Thank
you so much, Starless. Yes, absolutely. Listen, I think the most egregious thing here is joining a level 5 to 6 party at level 1.
What's the crack with that?
That again.
How can as a dungeon master, how can you do that and not be like, I'm fucking this person?
You're either a god at balancing or you can't balance anything at all. You know what I mean?
What?
You don't understand the actual basics
The
to balance.
thing is, you aren't balancing that encounter or any encounter for the level 1.
Yeah, there's no way. How Starless, I want to know how in combat, how did your character literally survive?
Well, you're a cleric, so I imagine you were ranged. I know you can play melee clerics.
Yeah, but you get breathed on by level 5 to 6. You get breathed on by something. You have what? What hit points do you have? You have
you'd have 8 maximum
from
your so probably 2 or 3. So you'd have like 11 hit points.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You get looked at.
I'm in my first session the other day.
At level 3.
Something did 25 damage.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's double your hit points. You'd be dead.
Yeah. Oh,
and that's at a level 3 combat.
Like. Dead.
Massive damage.
And then, at level 1, you have level 1 spells, while everyone has 3rd level spells.
And you'd have what, 1 or 2 spells?
Yeah, I think you would have 2 spells. Yeah. Like, oh my god.
Terrible.
I must know. Please, can you send a follow-up?
How you survived?
How did you survive that?
How did you survive that?
And you know what? Ending the campaign at 5 when they were 9 to 10?
Why? Just let them be the same level.
And I feel like with milestone leveling, it's more common for everyone to be a similar level. It sounds like there's still disparity between the people who have been there, because 5 to 6, 9 to 10. I feel like it's more common to see with experience leveling, seeing the disparity in levels, right?
I mean, yeah, but I still think a lot of people who do XP leveling just like, there's the XP dishes out amongst yourselves. I know that we dislike XP leveling when it's like killing blow, but that is like the minority of people. Most people are just like, oh, you killed the dragon. Oh, yeah, it was 1,000 XP. There's 4 of you. There's 250 XP.
Experience leveling is a very valid way. To be honest, even the killing blow is a valid way. I would. Well, actually, no. Disagree.
I don't think it's a valid way.
No, I agree.
I mean, it is if you like it, but you're really fucking breeding a competitive environment there.
Yeah, horrible.
And not like valuing team play.
Yeah. That's what I want to know. I want to know, Starless, what the fuck did you do in combat? Like, how did you bridge the gap? Because the thing is, the gap is so huge. Even when you were level 5 and they were level 10, like, Well, I guess it's not as bad then. It's still bad. It's
still
though.
Pretty bad. You might only have like what 50 hit points. At level 50,
and,
like,
and again,
when you're up at like level like 10 or something like that, you could be cresting 100 hit points.
Yeah, level 5, you only have 3rd level spells.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You have like 4 1s, 3 2s, and then.
Well, you'd have a 3rd level, a 5th level. You'd have a 3rd level.
Yeah, and 1 3rd level.
You know what I mean, like, and then it starts to get into the thing of like, not only are you underpowered in comparison to them, but your resource pool is far smaller.
For sure.
Like, you're gonna need to rest way more often than they will, because they can be like, oh yeah, I've burnt all my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level spells.
Yeah.
But it's alright because I've got 4th, 5th stuff like that. I got all these like different things, and you're like, well, I'm actually out.
Like even things out of combat, like stealth. For example, because your proficiency bonus at 5 is only 3, and what's your proficiency bonus at 10? I
think it's still only 4.
It's 4. To be fair, no, it is 4. I think it goes up to 5 at 12, doesn't it?
It usually goes up when your cantrip damage goes up, doesn't it? Let me have a look.
I don't know.
So your proficiency bonus, it's 2 at level 3 at level 5, 4 at level 9.
Yeah.
And then 5 at level 13.
Right, got you.
So the proficiency bonus isn't like too out of whack, but you just like your feet's down.
Yeah, and your stats sound like they sound like they kind of stink. Yeah.
And that's the problem with the minimum, and then with the level. And like the thing is, I get the whole like letting your DM know what spells you've got. Margaret always used to be like, I prepared these spells.
Yeah, I always told you because I wanted to.
I'm just like, that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't mind. Like, but Josh is the other way. He's like, I've taken a spell that you're gonna hate, and I'm like, what is it? And he's like, I'm not telling you.
Not telling you.
And
then
he'll cast it in the fucking session, and I'm like,
you took silvery barbs, didn't you?
Yeah.
You took silvery barbs.
Or he'll take something that just absolutely like destroys the combat or something like that. And so it's like, if you want to let your DM know that you've taken a specific spell, fine. You don't have to. But the fact that because if you don't tell them, they're like, you didn't tell me.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that.
That's unfair.
Yeah, I hate that.
And that's also not really how it works.
Yeah. I mean, I do understand. I understand DMs wanting to know what you've prepared for that day. I understand that.
But why?
Just so they can be prepared just in case.
Prepared with a counter. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially this being like, we haven't prepared him. Like,
it's like you haven't told me because I need you to tell me so I can find a way to thwart it when it happens.
Yeah. True.
Which is just unfair.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah. But it sounds like that's
with
the
everything
case
else,
in this
like,
situation,
I'm assuming there.
Yeah.
But
it sounds like that's exactly the case.
Like if DMs make you tell them what spells you're preparing just so they can be like, okay, I'm going to prepare counter spell the spell, something like that.
Yeah.
So when you whip out this cool new spell that you've been trying to like prepare all week or like really excited to use, and then you just go counter spell.
Yeah.
It's like that feels
No,
disgusting.
I agree. I can see both sides to that. Not the you can't prepare them. I understand DMs wanting to know. Like I understand.
I get that, yeah.
But yeah. I was gonna say something, but I can't recall what.
The DMPC that was just basically a meat grinder. Yeah. Like if NPCs, like you can have like a flex of an NPC so they look really cool, but if they're like following the party and in every combat and they're just like a meat grinder, it's just like you're preparing combats that you can win, not that we can win.
Yeah, you're preparing combats to like it's
so you can defeat them.
Yeah, like
why?
Bit weird.
Yeah, like I understand having an NPC now and then, and they like help the party.
Totally.
Like
totally.
At some point there was at the end of campaign 2 in Critical Role, there was like somebody who was almost like another member of the party who was constantly with them.
Yeah.
But they didn't like. Matt was like they're a little bit less leveled than you, and they were there to like help, and it was great. And
very,
it feels
very
good.
different. Very different.
In my first campaign, you had a few NPCs that were with you.
In the second campaign, we had Vinreal for a while.
Yeah, and they just helped.
Yeah, agreed. They weren't the fighter.
You guys are the fighters. Yeah. They were like there to help you along the way.
Man, that stinks, Dallas. And you say you have more stories? Send them in. And please, I must know, how did you handle combat?
How did you survive?
How did you survive?
How many near-death experiences did you have?
I must know.
Because I bet you had a lot.
Must know. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, on to a wholesome one.
I didn't put the timestamp down for that.
I know you didn't. I know. We started about 30 minutes, I'd
30?
say. Yeah, about 30-ish. We can
around there, that'll do. I don't know the rest of the minutes, so it doesn't matter.
Well, should we start doing timestamps again now that we have a bit more time?
We can do it if you want.
Yeah. Well, write him down and we'll see.
Here we go.
The dog's been particularly quiet. I bet I've activated him by saying that, haven't I?
No, it's okay. He's asleep. He's asleep.
All right.
Okay.
This is a wholesome story, and this has been sent in by Runarian, and he goes by he, him.
Thank you, Runarian.
Also, Runarian, thank you for phonetically spelling out your name for me. Very much appreciated. If anyone, you want to make sure I say your name 100%, just spell it out phonetically. Yeah. Can't go wrong. Sure. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello from across the pond.
Ooh.
Hello. I'm a relatively new listener. I only found you in early December, but I've been really enjoying listening to the banter and all your thoughts on this wonderful hobby that we share.
Yes.
I thought that you and your audience might enjoy this fun, lighthearted story from a campaign that I DM'd a few years ago.
Oh, please do tell.
Welcome, Runarian.
Thank you for being here.
Welcome you with open arms.
Doesn't matter when you join. The
Indeed.
fact that you're here is all that matters.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sending in a submission too. Yeah. For some background, I was still pretty new. I was still pretty new to DMing, and some of my players had never played D&D before, so we decided to run the module Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Cool.
And our party consisted of me, the DM, my partner, Fighter, his two friends, Rogue and Paladin. Around the midpoint of this campaign, the party needed to get into this walled, gated, patrolled mansion, preferably unseen. They came up with a simple but effective plan. The Paladin, who had the highest charisma in the group, would distract as many of the guards at the front gates as he could, while our Fighter would attempt to hoist the rogue up and over the wall, where he would then, hopefully, sneak around to the side entrance and open it for the other two. I feel like that's a
solid plan.
That's a solid plan. Yeah, you're using all of your things to your advantage.
Very good.
Now, the Fighter, with 18 strength, should have had no issues helping our rogue, who couldn't have weighed more than 100 pounds soaking wet, scale the wall. But I, and my naivete, asked the Fighter to roll. He rolled a natural one.
Of course. Standard stuff, really.
Given the reasons previously stated, it wouldn't have made sense for the Fighter to not be able to lift the rogue.
Correct.
So after a moment of pondering, I ruled it as thus. The Fighter, overestimating the weight of the rogue and how much muscle he would need to put behind his hoist, accidentally threw the rogue up and over the wall. Now, I realized that I shouldn't have made the Fighter roll in the first place, so I, as a benevolent DM, allowed the rogue to make a dex save to grab the ledge of the wall as he flew past it to try and catch himself, which he passed. He was able to sneak through the side entrance and unlock the door as planned, a bit shaken, but otherwise none the worse for wear.
Mm-hmm.
This was a small moment, but it sticks out to me for two reasons. Keep your players' stats and abilities in mind. If something should be easy for them, just let them do it. Not everything needs a roll. And even with a failed roll, it can be helpful to try and fail forward. This experience was made all the more memorable because it gave us a bit of a laugh, kept the scene moving forward, but didn't completely derail the session. I think if I had ruled it that the Fighter couldn't lift the rogue, that would have just been frustrating for the players, and I just want them all to have fun. There you go.
Like, the way that you made a mistake.
Yeah, which, by the way, so easy to be like, oh yeah, roll for it.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Like a knee-jerk reaction, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to lift them over the wall. I'll give us a roll. It's but then you just knee-jerk say it. But the way that you turned a failure into an over-succeed to the point where it's just like, you're actually so strong.
you like boinked them up that wall.
You hoisted them up and over to the point where it was just like, you don't even know your own strength. Like, you turned what could have been a bit of a miserable moment and a frustrating moment
into like a funny moment.
Into a funny moment. Yeah. And it's just like, because you're like lifting something as a paladin, a strong paladin, you over-exaggerate, you overextend, and you actually launch them. That's just like, that is fantastic dungeon mastering. Agreed.
And you know what? To have that moment immediately of being like, I shouldn't have actually asked for that roll. And again, that is something I feel that every single DM is 100% in some way, shape, or form going to experience this exact 100%. Situation. Right?
I do it all the time. I ask for a roll, and then somebody fails, and I'm like, as they're about to roll, I'm like, in fact, you don't need to roll. I don't even know why I asked.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like,
oh my god, 100%. Runarian said it perfectly. Think about what they're good at, and if they should be good at it, then you don't need to ask them to roll.
In my first session the other day, Abby's a rogue. She lockpicked the door, and then she wanted to actually like lock it on the other side.
Yes.
And instead of asking for another roll, I was like, "You've already succeeded. Yeah. It's fine. You know this lock now.
You can just lock it again. Yeah.
It's just sometimes. Yeah, like allowing them to do things that are just so like natural. It's just like the Fighter wants to jump onto a ledge. It's like they're athletic. they jump onto the ledge. We don't need to ask them for a roll for that.
Totally.
And when you've asked for a roll, do not be afraid to be like, I don't know, I asked you for that.
You don't need to do that. Yeah. Oh my God, 100%.
Say that. It's fine.
And you will. The more you play, especially with the same group. If you play with the same group, like time and time again, you'll know what they're good at. Sorry, someone was at the door.
Somebody was at the door.
Yeah, you know your players. You know what they're good at. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to what they actually want to roll for as well, and what they don't.
Yeah,
like, you'll get used to it.
And you'll just, it's just as you play the game. The rogue is good at being stealthy. They're good at dexterity, acrobatics, and things like that. You'll just be like, the character archetype will have stats in this place, so then those things don't really need rolls for.
Yeah, and you'll feel that out as it happens. And the same thing as well. If you need your players to see something, just don't make them check for it. Just let them see it.
Yeah, just let them see it. If you need them to see something, then the passive perception comes into play. The passive investigation comes into play. But it's like, it doesn't mean that you can't test them.
Oh, of course.
If the barbarian wants to push a boulder, like, the barbarian gets to roll the dice. Because the thing is, the barbarian's probably going to succeed. And that is a feat that is worth a roll. So when they succeed, it feels good. It's for the menial things. It's for the small things.
Totally. Like pushing them up a wall.
I pick up my mug and I throw it at the wall. Give me a strength check. It's like, why?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thank you so much,
Amazing.
Marion. What a wonderful story. Thank you so much, and welcome again.
You seem to be a great DM.
Yes.
And,
oh my God, yes.
Keep up the good work. Indeed. You're doing a fantastic job.
Indeed. All right, this next one is a horror. This has been sent in by Barking Lynx, and he goes by he, him.
That's me being afraid of the horror.
Go on, show me. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. And the title is, I was the reason why a bunch of players left a game store after a bad night of D&D. Backstory. I used to go to a local game store to play D&D. There were multiple DMs and anyone was allowed to join in. Over time, groups of players would stick with the same DM. This form was great if someone had the itch to play D&D but was having a hard time finding a group. Most everyone who came in were about the ages of 20 and up. There were some younger players around the ages of 6 to 12 who would also come to the game store. But we had a DM who would run games just for the younger players, which was great since this kept games running smoothly for everyone else. So the story. One day, the DM who ran the sessions for kids quit and said he wasn't going to DM anymore, not sure why. This left a group of about 5 kids without a DM. My DM, Sam, and the other DM, Brad, were the only other 2 DMs in that night. Without any proper discussion, Brad sent 5 kids, one of which being his 6-year-old daughter, to our group. So here we were, stuck with a full group of 12 people. Sam is not a good improv DM, so he continued the session he had planned, and we were all level 8 while the kids were level 4.
Oh.
As any kid would be at their age, they were unfocused and interruptive for the whole session. One kid kept saying that he wanted to chop up and eat another player's tabaxi monk. Why is it always the tabaxis that get eaten?
Why does everyone want to eat each other's characters?
When combat happened, it was just awful. One round took up to 2 hours. One kid kept constantly interrupting other players and saying who he was going to attack next, friendly or not. 2 of the kids' characters were knocked out before they even had a turn, and they cried. The session ended up being us adults babysitting these kids for 4 hours.
Yeah.
After the session finally ended, Sam said that he was upset that he was given 5 extra players without his choice.
Rightfully so.
I then offered to start hosting D&D at my place. We took our group of 7 and started playing at my house since then. The aftermath. I love how you've segmented this, by the way. The other DM, Brad.
Fallout.
The fallout. 24 hours after
24
destruction.
24 hours after the game store.
The other DM, Brad, messaged me saying that I'm a terrible gatekeeping player for taking away players from the store and that it's not the kids' fault and they are just young. I argued that we aren't
Brad, it's your fault.
I argued that we aren't a free daycare service and some of us aren't comfortable playing with children when we weren't given a choice, and this would end up making players leave either way. So me offering an alternative place to play D&D was how I made a bunch of players leave the game store, and we've been having fun since. And some extra context if needed. Brad is not a worker or owner of the store, he just doesn't have space to play D&D like mine at his. Parents would drop their kids off at the store and then leave to come pick them up later. There were other reasons we left besides getting extra players forced on us, but this was the tipping point. I did suggest that we did something different, like a simple monster hunt session, but as I said, the DM is not good with improv. And finally, there is a D&D night for kids, but it was once a month on Saturday, and we played on Tuesday weekly.
So, right, Brad didn't work at the game store.
No.
But Brad...
I think was just like a volunteer DM, I guess.
Okay. So...
Just like a patron of the game store.
Is it really Brad's fault? My God, this is just a catalogue of shit show
that
is just added up to a terrible situation.
Yeah. And you know what? I am empathetic actually towards everyone.
Same.
Now, would I cope having our regular scheduled, your campaign, for example, would I be happy having a total of 12 players slowly thrust on us who were the ages of 6 to 12?
But no, it wasn't 12 players.
Oh my God, no.
It was another 5 players. They had 7 players,
yes,
and then they had
7,
5 kids.
Yeah, like,
would we be okay with that?
No, absolutely, categorically
absolutely
not. Absolutely not.
I don't have kids.
No.
I don't want kids.
No.
I don't really want to be around kids.
No.
That's my personal choice. That's no shade on anybody who's got kids.
Oh, no, yeah, of course.
That's your life. You live it.
Yeah,
but for me, do I want to play Dungeons & Dragons with kids?
No.
No.
No. And you know what? If we were, let's say there was a different side of this universe where we did have a D&D game scheduled for children, maybe to teach them how to play, that would be different.
That would be different.
That would be something that you are aware you have children, because I fully believe, by the way, games for children should be different to games with adults.
100%.
Like, without a shadow of a doubt.
If a child tried to understand every rule and every stat and every monster and every battlefield like the way that we do, it would just their brain would explode.
Oh my God. And and not to include themes.
Yeah.
Like, there is heavy violence and
heavy violence in almost every Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yeah, like I feel like they should be two separate things. So to
100%.
throw children into a group of 20 plus something year olds regular game is like irresponsible to the children as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, the thing is, Brad shouldn't have done it, but it's also Brad doesn't work there. Brad's probably a volunteer.
And Brad's probably like, I don't know.
It was a bad call, but at the same time, like, you shouldn't really be making those calls. That's not really fair.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like, the DM probably should have done a one shot, but at the same time, that's not fair on the dungeon master.
I know, yeah.
Like, the dungeon master probably plotted a session ready for the players to have and was excited for it. Some people don't like change. Some people don't like a sudden change in circumstance can send people west.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, and
me.
And for a dungeon master, unflexible dungeon masters should never be shamed for being unflexible.
Oh my God, no, of course not.
Being unflexible isn't an issue.
No,
that's just the way you are, and that's fine.
Yeah.
The kids aren't to blame because they're kids.
Yeah, the whole Backing Links makes a very good point. Like, of course, the children cried. Of course, they acted like this because they're children. You expect children to do that. And God damn, if me as a 6 to 12-year-old trying to sit down for 4 hours at a table, taking my turn patiently, I wouldn't have been able to do it. No way.
I played Doppel with my nephew, who is 5 years old. And I beat him by 1 card. I was, taking it easy and we were just having a bit of fun, and then I ended up having more cards than him. He almost cried because I didn't let him win.
Yeah.
If that child went to play D&D and their character got killed before they even got it, of course they're crying.
Yeah, oh my God. Of course they're crying.
They're a child.
Of course they're crying.
They aren't emotionally mature enough to not understand why they didn't get a turn.
And, I'm not saying that all children can't understand, because someone tagged us the other day on TikTok.
Yeah.
Someone tagged...
Great clip.
I can't recall the name of the TikTok account or the names of the people playing, but it's a father teaching his young daughters how to play D&D.
And it's unreal.
He does it in a very intentional, in a very slow-paced, low-stakes, fun type of way. And I feel like if you're playing D&D with children, you have to be that attentive to them.
Yes. Yeah.
And, first of all, big up to your local game store for actually facilitating this for children. I feel like a lot of places wouldn't. Like, there is something to be said about the children being left unsupervised without parents, potentially.
Yeah.
But, that's none of my business.
Yeah, that is quite wild.
That is quite wild.
In my opinion.
I think. But, props to your game store for facilitating kids DM.
Yeah,
because
getting kids into D&D early is a great thing.
There is a way to do it. is it throwing them in a 12-person game?
No.
And yeah,
with a DM who didn't realize it was going to be happening, who is quite inflexible.
Yeah.
Not the
that sounds like my worst fucking nightmare.
This is just a rough circumstance all around.
Like, I am not kidding you. If it was a choice between playing in that game and just going home, you better believe I'm going
in
home.
the car, starting the engine.
Oh yeah,
driving home.
And I'm not looking back.
No,
like no way.
And,
so I don't blame you at all, backing links for taking it to your home.
And
not at all.
The thing is, to then be like, I don't really want that to happen again. Let's just play at my place. You know, at the end of the day, it's your fucking choice.
Yeah,
you do whatever you want.
Of course.
Like, for Brad to be like, you've taken people away from the game. So
and you're being a gatekeeper. I don't think that's correct at all.
That's not correct at all. That's not the case.
Yeah.
You know, like, not wanting that to happen again. Like, look, we look forward to Dungeons & Dragons every week. Every single one of us looks forward to Dungeons & Dragons every week. We love it. We live for it.
Yeah.
We count down the hours to the moment we get to play.
Yeah.
And if, you know, you're turning up and these things are happening, of course you might want a slightly less interrupted place to play. Of course.
And listen,
there's nothing wrong with that.
As an adult who has very finite free time as well,
100%.
like it sounds awful on the surface being like, oh my God, of course I don't want to play with kids. But it's like, of course I don't.
Of course I don't.
Because it's my free time.
It's my life and I'll do what I want.
Work like a fucking dog the rest of my life. This is my free time to spend with my friends to do what I want.
And I'll do it how I want.
Yeah.
With the people I want.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that could be seen as selfish, but I feel like that's just self-care. Like, literally.
That's not selfish.
I don't think... I agree. Brad is right. They're just kids. It's not their fault that they're young. Agreed. But it's also not your fault.
But it's also not your responsibility.
Yeah. Boo. Boo. Thank you, backing
That's
links.
just a stinker all
That's
around,
just
really.
a stinker. You know what? That's not the traditional type of horror story we would read
usually
out.
in the horror story, there's somebody who's like, it's your fault.
Yeah, but like, damn, that just stinks.
That is just an unfortunate circumstance all
That just fucking stinks.
To be fair, do you know, the person who was just like, I'm not DMing anymore, I imagine they probably did it on the day, and that's why the kids still turned up. So
exactly.
the person who didn't notify the parents, or the DM who didn't tell them in good enough time, that's whose fault it is.
Of course. All right, this is a wholesome one. This is a nice wholesome one. This has been sent in by Aaron, and he goes by he, him.
Let's go.
Thank you, Aaron.
Cheers, Aaron.
This does contain Wild Beyond the Witchlight spoilers, if that's something that
Aaron,
you don't want to hear.
You?
Aaron, skip to the next timestamp.
The next chapter.
If we have one.
In this story.
If not, skip maybe 20 minutes ahead. I don't know.
20?
I don't know. 10 minutes. 10 minutes ahead.
10 minutes
God, we
max.
haven't blabbered, haven't we?
Yeah. I go pick up the Tesco shop for the next hour and a quarter.
Such is life. Sorry if this is too long. I just want to do my players' stories justice.
Sorry.
Do not apologize. My friend and I, like so many others, discovered D&D through Critical Role. Our group wanted to be in a game, but like so many others, no one wanted to DM.
What?
Thus, the sacred duty of sucking it the fuck up and getting a module to run fell to me.
Correct. Someone's got to do it, and it was you.
And it was you, Aaron. I chose this module simply because I liked how the special edition book looked, and a brief summary.
Special edition boat.
Is that what I said?
Special edition butt cheeks.
My doo-doo butt cheeks.
Special edition doo-doo butt cheeks.
Special edition butt, am I right?
Am I right?
Aaron liked how the special edition butt looked, and the brief summary filled my mind with all the possible Fae hijinks within.
There you
so
go.
I yanked it off the shelf and I began my pilgrimage.
There you go.
I had 4 players, all of whom had their backstories woven into the story. However, one player's arc was particularly wholesome. Enter Ren Snapdragon, she, her, half-elf divine soul sorcerer. Imagine a short girl with chin-length pink hair, 1 grey eye, 1 golden, and a pink jester outfit. She was born to her mother Freya, and she never knew her father. Ren and her mother lived on the road, always travelling to new towns and never staying long, until they met a drow wizard willing to take them in. It wasn't long before Freya became aware of the wizard's ill intent for her daughter, whose magic was beginning to manifest. Freya discovered the drow wanted to groom Ren into an obedient and powerful bride, so she took her daughter and made a break for it in the woods. Ultimately, the wizard caught up, and despite fighting her with all of her strength, Freya wasn't as powerful a warrior as she used to be. The wizard turned Freya to stone while Ren watched from her hiding place nearby before running into the wilderness. Eventually, she stumbled into the Witchlight Carnival, a plain travelling circus showcasing fae creatures and attractions, and met a little mote of light that never seemed to want that seemed to want to be her friend. Never seemed. that wanted to be her friend.
Never. I would never be your friend.
I'll never be your friend, Ren.
Never.
Me and you were done.
Enemies.
Never wanted to leave her side and wanted to be her friend. She named this little guy Gizmo, and he never left her side. The motive light was something that the player got as part of their witchlight worker background, but I rubbed my DM hands together and I made it much more. Years pass. Ren works in the carnival doing a sword swallower performance, but she really just swallows anything and it magically disappears because why shouldn't it?
Because it's D&D.
The other characters meet Ren when they go to adventure, and then... Oh my god. The other characters meet Ren, and then they go about the adventure to defeat evil hags in the Feywild who would usurp the Archfey Zybilna. Cool. One of the hags... Thank you, by the way, for spelling out phonetically. One of the hags offered the party a reward for turning in a rebel she despised. It was really the party's changeling in disguise. The bounty stated you would receive the heart of the one you love the most, and in typical Fey fashion, Ren received her mother's stone heart in a box. Over the course of the adventure, Ren eventually explains what the box contains to the party, and notices that Gizmo drifts around the bottom of the box at all times. Then, in an encounter with another 3 of the hags, Ren witnesses who her mother truly was via a puppet show performed by the hag. Her mother was an angel of Palor and the god of sun and justice. She roamed the world helping those in the guise of a mortal, but a powerful politician man named Balder discovered her secret without her knowing. He manipulated the angel into falling in love with him so he could utilize her power for himself. However, when she became pregnant with Ren, she was given an ultimatum from Palor. Either leave her life with Balder and continue her angelic duties, or stay and become truly immortal. Amortal, not immortal.
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 Mortal.
Amortal, not immortal.
Immortal?
Amortal.
Immortal.
Freya chose to stay and become mortal, losing her divine powers. However, when Balder learned that she was now merely another mortal, he cast her out for she was useless in his eyes. Fast forward to the Drow Wizard, and Freya knew she must protect her daughter from yet another ambitious man who wanted to use a woman's power for himself. Freya would always tell Ren, "I love you more than the sun is bright," and she didn't realize her mother had been telling her that she gave up her life as an angel of the sun god to be her mother all along. Finally, at the end of the adventure, the party reaches the place where Zybilna was trapped in a temporal stasis. They battle the dreaded Jabberwock guarding the magic... Sorry, I haven't read out in so long. They battle the dreadful Jabberwock guarding the magical witch's cauldron that holds the palace stuck in time. Once Zybilna is free, she banishes her pet Jabberwock until he can calm down and greets the heroes who saved her realm, promising them a wish each. Ren asks for help restoring her mother, opening the box containing the heart, Gizmo lazily floating out as well. Zybilna takes a moment and gazes at Gizmo, a knowing smile spreading across her face. "Do you know what this is?" Zybilna asks, gesturing to Gizmo. "This is a sliver of an angel's soul." At this point, my player realizes Ren's mother had been with her all along. Zybilna magically raises the heart into the air and says, "I wish these halves were made whole again." And in a brilliant flash of golden light, Freya is remade and reunited with her daughter she's watched over but could not touch or speak to since they were separated. That's it. Sorry again if it's too long.
Wow, what a story.
What a beautiful story.
What an absolute cracker of a story.
Oh, I love that she was with her the whole time.
And I'll tell you what, it's a good... Do you want to know what? It's a good job you sucked it up, because it sounds like you did a fucking brilliant job.
You did a wonderful job.
It sounds like you did a brilliant job. What a little... I don't know how much is Wild by the Witchlight, and I don't know how much is what you gave, but, you know, like... It sounds like you told it well. The fact that you told it that well here. Oh my god, you beautifully written, by the way. So well written.
Absolutely beautiful. And I was like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. Cried. Well.
It's, you know, it's just like the full circle, like the resolution.
Yep.
And it's tough. It's so tough. It's so tough as a dungeon master, Because you want to, like, believe me, I'm at the beginning of a campaign. I've got twists and turns up the yazoo. Yeah. I've got all sorts of crazy things that I want my players to experience, and it is so hard. Yeah. So hard to keep it all in. Totally. And the fact that you kept in the fact that is like the soul of an angel.
Damn, that must have killed you.
Eaten you alive.
That must have literally
eaten you alive.
Eaten you alive. Yeah. Like having Ren obviously being in such turmoil, missing her mother, and knowing that she was with her
the whole time. And like the thing is, because you did keep it to yourself, when it comes to that moment, like it just makes it like 10 times better.
I think I would have died.
Yeah.
I think I would have died at the table. If that revelation was told to me, I think I would have skinned myself alive, eaten my skin and died.
Wow.
Shat myself out, stood on myself and died. I don't think I could have handled that. My God.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Very good. Very well done. God, brilliant.
What a beautiful story. And I love. What did you say? You said the mote of light was actually from
an angel soul.
Well, it was something the player got as part of their witchlight worker background, and the fact that you were like, actually, it's going to be this. Wonderful. Oh my God, what a beautiful, absolutely beautiful story.
That's the old pulling the wool over the eyes.
What beautiful storytelling. Yeah. What incredible forethought and thought you've put into your players' stories. Yeah. I would love to know if you like you say that you did there was other characters. I would love to know what you did for them as well. If you have any stories of that, Aaron.
GG's, Aaron.
Absolutely. What a gorgeous, beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Fantastic job.
Oh, well, are you ready for a horror?
Yeah. Of course I am.
Oh, no.
I'm never not ready. Ready.
Is this? No, God, this isn't even the last. God, this episode's going to be so long. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
All right. This horror. This has been sent in by Fatherly Cash 45, and he goes by he/him.
Thank you very much, Fatherly Cash.
Thank you so much, Fatherly Cash. Listen, Fatherly Cash sent in a whole bunch of submissions at the same time, and they're all really fucking good.
Are they?
Yeah. So.
Oh, like all really bad.
No. Well, no. There's good ones.
There's good ones as well.
There's good ones as well. I obviously didn't want to put them all in the same one.
Yeah.
But thank you, Fatherly Cash. Really good submissions. So this story takes place a few years back. I'll try to keep it short, but bear with me. I was the dungeon master, forever DM, RIP.
Yeah.
And I was running a campaign set in a semi-homebrewed Magic the Gathering Ixalan campaign.
Very cool.
Yeah. Basically an island with Aztec-inspired culture, dinosaurs, magicka, and conquistador vampires trying to mess everything up.
Sounds cool.
The campaign involved myself as the DM, 2 forever players who I adore, and 2 problem players. One of them was less of a problem and not relevant to the story, so I will skip them. The main issue was with the barbarian, who we will call Sarah. Okay. Sarah's character was born in Ixalan in a secluded and hidden part of the island. Her character and her character's people chose to hide from the world, making them fairly sheltered when it came to the grander issues of the outside world. That in of itself wasn't a huge issue though. The big issues came with how Sarah's character acted. Sarah's barbarian was mean, to put it lightly. She had an issue with anyone telling her what to do, was rude and disrespectful, constantly acted as though she knew better than anyone else for everything, and treated the other player characters and NPCs like they were just dumb. That, of course, caused tension and made it difficult for
Oh,
no.
What?
Someone being rude and calling everyone dumb?
Someone being a complete asshole?
No way.
No way.
This, of course, caused tension, and it made it difficult for NPCs and the player characters to like her.
Mm-hmm.
To exacerbate this issue, she would complain that no one knew about her backstory, and yet her character would never speak on it. Even when prompted, even when the group went out of their way to swear an oath to never reveal her hidden home, to sit and talk, she did not relent. She was cagey. She didn't like revealing the information. She kept people at arm's length. And then she would get mad and sad and complain that no one cared about her story or her character.
That's fucking frustrating.
Despite the numerous attempts to ask about it. This frustrated the group, as the rest of the party was quite adamant and eager to make friends, to talk, to build relationships with the world around them. They spent time outside and inside of game building connections, helping people, interacting with the world. Yet Sarah's barbarian never did that. Both in and out of game, she would complain that she lacked those connections. And yet, when I tried to make time to build those connections with her, squeezing in an hour or two outside of games to work with her, she simply would not want to do it. Even worse still, she began to talk to the other players behind my back, telling them that I was actively avoiding her backstory, that I wasn't giving her the spotlight enough. Yet, whenever I tried to give her plot hooks, when I tried to involve her into the story, when the player characters tried to get her involved, she would adamantly be against it and being untrusting of it. She grew bitter and resentful when the other characters had big arcs, big story moments, despite them and myself trying our best to bring her own arc to fruition. But with her being so unwilling to work with them, to trust them, unwilling to take the hooks and feeling more and more like she was a side character in a main character story, there was just not much more I could do without forcing her to take the story hooks. This all came to a head when I confronted her, trying to make things right, feeling terrible that maybe I hadn't done enough. I sat with her, tried to work with her on her story more, figure out what we could do to tie things in more. I even changed an entire course of the story to get her backstory to place faster so she could feel more involved, take the lead, and be the main focus for the arc of the journey. And that still wasn't good enough. After the fact, she said it was really rushed, forced, and that it wasn't natural. She still felt like the characters had a hard time connecting with her, in brackets because they did, and couldn't understand why the other players' characters, who had gone out of their way to make friends and to involve themselves with NPCs, were connecting more with the world. In the end, we just had to ask her to leave, as she was actively reaching. She was actively reaching out to the group individually over to Discord, trying to lie about how one of the other players was being rude to her, bullying her, and how I, as the DM, was sexist, and how the other players had said something terrible. She was trying to pit us against each other, and so we had enough. She was kicked, and the campaign ended shortly after.
Man,
Jesus, what the fuck?
There is a phrase for somebody like this.
Go on.
Have you ever heard of the phrase, bite my nose off to spite my own face? Like, you, like, whinging and whinging that you're not getting something, and then when people are desperately trying everything that they can, players, DMs doing everything that they can to try and give you it, and you're like, no. Yeah. It's like, you're like intentionally doing it so you can be the victim.
You're intentionally setting yourself up to fail so that you can complain that everyone's making you fail.
This is your fault. I can't believe you do this to me.
And you know what? When, like, kind of going through the first bit, I was like, maybe Sarah isn't picking up on the social cues in-game that the other characters were trying to get her to come out of her shell. However, that all fucking goes out the window when
the Dungeon Master,
Fatherly Cash, says, I spent hours with her outside of game going, we can do this, we can do that. And the other players as well.
And do you want to know what? It's like at the end, it's like such a shame. It's a shame that you all like just disbanded the game.
Yeah, that's
but you want
so
to know
disappointing.
at that point, like I would feel like it was tainted.
Oh my god,
it was ruined,
totally
spoiled,
totally. Like I can, like to be like, we've all done it, right? We've all done it. We've all made a character, especially if it's like one of our first times playing DM. I'm not sure if you said Fatherly Cash if they were new, but you said that it was your first time DMing, right? Yeah. So I don't know if everyone else was new. We've all done it. We've made our first character, and we don't want to give anything away because we're too scared that it's going to come out too soon. Yeah. Hey, we've been playing D&D for years, and I'm going through this with Blythe at the minute now too. I understand. Yeah. But when you intentionally leave yourself out, and I've said it a million times, my first character, I excluded myself so bad, and it made me feel terrible. I have no doubt Sarah feels terrible, but who's making her feel terrible? Herself.
Nobody else.
Like,
nobody else.
This is such a lack of self-awareness entirely.
And like when people like, and the thing is, there's nothing wrong with like holding it for a bit and not wanting to tell everything straight away.
Of course.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Of course.
But when it's like been a little while and like people have made multiple attempts to get you to say something or like just even like include you in case you feel left out, there's nothing wrong with just giving a bit, a name, a hint, like a small branch of your arc that we can like explore later.
Totally.
Just giving something so it's like, I am willing and I want to, but it's just not the right time for me yet. But giving something.
But even if it's I will tell you, but not right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like something. There's trust there, but it's just not the right time for me.
Not right now. And like the thing is, it's here. The group went out of their way to swear an oath to not reveal her home. They can sit down and talk.
What more do you want them to do?
I know. Like,
what more can they do?
I know. And
to swear an oath?
Fuck me. How frustrating must it have been as the other players having her come to you individually, by the way, being like, he's ignoring my backstory. Oh my God, he's intentionally not doing it. And in game, knowing you're doing everything to help them and they're not doing it. How frustrating. That must feel like you're getting fucking spat in the face.
Yeah. It's like, and the thing is, all of that is well and good, like we said, like, you know, don't let it go too long. But at the end, like, to just be like, to turn, you're sexist and things like that.
I know, someone was bullying me.
Yeah, bullying me, and this person said this is just like, you're clearly just a complete and utter piece of shit.
Yeah, and you know what? I in a lot of ways, I actually feel sympathy for Sarah because she's obviously caught up in her own world.
Yeah.
She's stuck in an echo chamber of her own mind, and she's seeing these things as truths, and she's telling herself that these are truths. And I feel like she probably feels like she has been victimized and she has been bullied because she's told herself this in her head.
Yeah, maybe. Or she's just toxic.
Yeah. You know what? True. People could just be toxic.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if that is the case, fair enough.
Yeah.
But this to me just reeks of toxicity.
Yeah.
Like, trying to like pin each other against each other.
That has no excuse.
Horrible.
In the end, the pinning each other against each other.
Despicable behavior.
And like, you know what? I feel like in these situations, I always try to think. I feel like
I know you always try and excuse the behavior.
I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. People can just be toxic.
You have. And, you know, if that's the case, fair enough. But on the other hand, if you are just a toxic piece of shit, then that's not good.
Yeah,
That's like that behavior, like trying to pin each other against people and just making up lies to try and split. Because the thing is, the sad thing is, Sarah has succeeded here.
Oh, yeah. The group disbanded, unfortunately.
She got what she wanted. The group's disbanded.
If we want a silver lining from Fatherly Cash's other stories, I know that there were successful games that went very well.
Well, good then.
So, you know, but like... that's still absolutely completely shitty, and I'm sorry that the campaign ended, but I don't blame you. Yeah,
no, I don't blame you at all. They would be completely ruined in my eyes as well.
It completely would.
So I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
and thank you for your story.
I am. That absolutely stinks like shit.
Stinks like fucking doo-doo butt cheeks.
Thank you, Father Cash. I'm sorry, and I'm very sorry, and I'm glad that you've that's in the past.
Yeah, past is the past.
Past is the past.
And we move on.
Indeed.
To bigger and better things.
Indeed.
Like a wholesome story.
Yeah, we had a wholesome story. Okay, this has been sent in by Viera, and she goes by she, her. I thought you were going to say
Fieri, and I was like,
Guy Fieri. This has been sent in by Viera, and she goes by she, her.
Thank you very much, Viera, for your submission.
My DM just blew our minds with this backstory reveal.
Let's go.
Fair warning, this is a Grim Hollow campaign, so the themes are pretty dark.
Fair enough.
My DM is amazing at filling in holes in people's backstories and making conflict with what you give him. I'm a little spoiled, and I've come to make very humble beginnings because I know that he always finds a way to surprise me. Ooh. Recently, we started playing with a new group. In brackets, our DM and my boyfriend know each other from the games, but the rest of the group is new. And we have a player, R, that I feared might become a problem player later, mostly out of PTSD from a situation that started similarly rather than anything that he did. We have 2 campaigns, one ran by my boyfriend, and in both campaigns, R made characters that were a little selfish and violent. It didn't affect much of the Grim Hollow campaign, given it's Grim Hollow, but on the other hand, he ended up having to switch characters because of inter-party conflict. Nothing terrible. It was great roleplay for everyone involved, and the new character he made was much more amenable to the party, so I thought maybe he was just used to playing in different kinds of games and it wasn't anything malicious.
That is.
All of this to say, his Grim Hollow backstory was, he is a dragonborn from the Feywild, and he serves a woman from the Winter Court, and he has a brother that the Summer Court stole from him. The DM gave him a task to retrieve some eggs for his mistress, and I thought this was the story tie-in. So we finally come to the point of getting into the Feywild to deliver the eggs. On the way, we found a little pseudo-dragon that got attached to R's character, despite R treating it badly. He almost killed it upon first meeting, but felt like it was punching down and he healed it. They eventually both got along. By this point, I should contextualize. This character was downright feral. He was constantly getting into fights, seemed to have little empathy or regard for other people, and curiously, didn't expand much on this mistress that he had. He didn't seem to know much about her, which was confirmed by the DM cracking jokes that he wouldn't know or never ask. He didn't talk about his past in general, but we just thought it was because he was reserved. He wanted to bring more gifts for this woman and generally took stuff from loot, like little knickknacks like bones from a creature we felled, to strange magic items that we could buy. Anyway, we finally reached his mistress.
His mattress.
And she began to talk to us about R's character. She asked if he had been helpful, if he had socialized well, if he was a good fighter, etc. We found it a bit strange, but he answered. One of the members of the party is a doctor, in brackets, the Frankenstein kind that experiments with people and is generally creepy.
Okay.
So he gave a full evaluation. She seemed happy and asked R if he was pleased that she'd brought his brother. Of course, he was really interested and asked to see him. She proceeded to say that he was supposed to meet him on the way in, and then that's when we connected all the dots. It was the pseudo-dragon. R started asking her what she'd done to his brother, very upset, and she just answered with confusion. What do you mean? This is when it clicked. I looked at her and I asked, did you turn his brother into a pseudo-dragon, or did you turn R into a dragonborn? So the DM began describing how, upon hearing it, R's character began to remember. He was a pseudo-dragon. Him and his brother used to play near his mistress's lands, and he wandered off to her while his brother stayed behind, eventually seeking help in the summer court when R didn't come back. She transformed him into a dragonborn through a horrific experiment where she used the troll's heart for its regeneration, which grants him his barbarian rage, and a human soul. The DM described how the transformation was so long and so painful that R had completely blocked it out. It explained everything. Why he didn't know much about his mistress, why he had little empathy for humanoids, why his gifts were mainly bones and random things, which she said in the moment were amusing, as if he was a cat bringing her some prey. Why he fought first and asked questions later, and why he never said much about his past. We were all flawed. I had no idea that this was coming, and he was speechless, but generally very, very excited about the outcome. And I don't think I'll ever see another reveal like this.
Wow.
Damn.
That's good.
Damn.
That's the good shit.
Damn.
That's the good shit.
Man.
Well done.
First of all, to make the connection being like, wait.
That's big brain of you, by the way.
Yeah, that's really fucking big brain.
You got a fucking juicy brain.
Jesus Christ. I don't think I would have come to that conclusion.
When you asked the question, I was like, that does make sense. I don't think I would have ever said it.
No, same. I would have never. How did your brain tick like that,
Because it's big and juicy.
Yeah. She's got the biggest brain.
You know, the fucking huge
biggest
IQ.
brain in the West. I don't know where you're from, but yeah, damn. Yeah, the West. Damn, that's really cool.
Great.
And
that's
you know
great.
what? I feel like those moments there, like you mentioned that like his character was like feral and like got in fights and was like a bit abrasive, but you were just like, that's just the kind of characters that he plays. Makes complete sense, doesn't it?
Makes complete sense.
Makes complete sense. And that I love that. Like, I love the hindsight moment.
Man, and like I do love it. Like as someone says something to you, like you have this like almost cinematic moment of like remembering. Like I do be loving those moments.
Me too.
I do be loving those moments.
I had that moment with Rayla.
Yeah.
With damn, what was her name?
Revna.
With Revna.
Yeah.
I had that moment with her where she asked me to remember, and I did, and it was a big cinematic moment. Love
a cinematic moment.
Love a cinematic moment.
When we're just role playing when it's out of combat and we can just take the time. Love a cinematic
Beautiful.
moment.
I love that.
Congrats to your GM and congrats on the big brain.
Yeah. Oh my God. What a wonderful story. Thank you so much for sending that in, Viera.
I'm still shocked that you put that together.
I'm still shocked that you put that together too. Oh my God.
How many of you would have put that together?
Yeah, I would like to know who would have put that together.
I don't think I would have.
I wouldn't have. No, I would have been like, it's the pseudo-dragon. And that's it. You know what I mean? Love that he tried to kill his own brother. Yeah. That's a pseudo-dragon. Love
but brothers do fight.
Yeah, true. You know? True. I love that. What a wonderful story.
Amazing story.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, we're on to the last two.
Last horror story, last wholesome story.
Penultimate.
Correct.
So this is a horror, and this has been sent in by Eric, and he goes by he, him.
Cheers, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
I had a dog called Eric.
I did have a dog called Eric. She was a girl.
Yeah.
Don't ask. Hello, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, thank you very much.
Love you guys and the tube/pod. Keep up the immaculate vibes. And as a queer person, thank you for being great allies. Of course.
You are welcome here and we love you.
Very much so. If there's one thing that we wanted this place to be. It's a safe space.
It's a safe space. Just doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter where you've come from. Doesn't matter what life you've lived. Mm-hmm. We just like D&D.
Indeed.
And that's why we're here.
Indeed. I will try to make this horror story quick, but here's a preface. It was back in 2020 when I picked up the hobby. I'm like 90% over this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe this can be the final 100.
Yeah, this can be the last 10%.
Maybe this can be
right?
the catharsis.
Yeah. This can be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Basically, the DM railroaded us into a difficult dungeon and then favored his bestie to the detriment of the rest of the party.
Sick.
Yeah, nice.
Love it when that
nice.
Happens. My favorite, actually.
I was away of the Shadow Monk. The rest of the party consisted of a druid, a rogue, a life cleric, and the life cleric is the DM's best friend.
Bestie.
We were a good chunk into the Waterdeep Dragon Heist module and we played online. I'll be vague, but still may have slight spoilers. We needed to get certain items in order to progress the story. The DM was very adamant about that. We spent a lot of time and lots of rolls trying to find them until we had one more. It was a hand, yes, the body part, of a certain kind of race. We only knew of one person of that race from the rumor, so we headed to the hideout where we knew they resided. Fast forward to what was the second level in this dungeon crawl, we are discovered by what is essentially a mini-boss or high guard. The fight goes poorly. As a frontline, I go down very fast. The rest of the party aren't looking good either. The life cleric uses their last spell slot on a guiding bolt or something else offensive. Not normally would I judge a caster's spell choices, by the way, but this is notable for later. The cleric, perhaps the first to realize we should have just ran, takes off, just totally booking it.
Nice.
Down a hallway we hadn't been down and that we hadn't even come from. No way to know that there was an exit in that direction at all. This mini-boss tells the party to give up and uses me as an example, taking both his attacks on my unconscious body, killing me. This isn't the part that upset me, mind you. It's D&D, we took on too much, we should have ran, etc.
Fair.
Now the remaining two that watch me die go kamikaze when I'm killed. They try to take out the leftover enemies and they do not submit to the mini-boss. Everyone dies, except the cleric. This cleric managed to run through countless enemy-based rooms. I couldn't even tell you how many. Rolled shitty for deception checks, etc., without a single person stopping him or killing him like the rest of the party. It was very clear that the DM favoured pulling the strings, and he miraculously discovered a hidden trapdoor that led back to the city. Ta-da! This is where I started to get angry. The clear special treatment for the cleric was insulting, and at this point, I wasn't even that upset yet, because the cleric player was adamant that he would go and get our bodies back and revive us, fitting for a cleric who just lost his friends. It was what happened out of the session when talking about replacement characters that fucking pissed me off. In brackets, ooh, I'ma tell him.
Get him.
The DM rewarded the cleric for knowing when to run with bonus magic items. The rest of the new characters would not get any. The cleric was an experienced D&D player and was smart. And this is when I hit them both with a, are you fucking serious? You see, the life cleric player didn't know he had channel divinity. He kept saying that he did everything he could, but the experienced player didn't know that he had a free party heal in his back pocket. And yes, this was a bit rude to the player who was just trying to make a horrible situation better. My anger is for the DM. Also, the DM then had the audacity to ask us why we were down in that dungeon anyway. And the collective response was, because that's where the item was. It was the only place to get it. Yes, we had tried other methods to roll for intel. But yeah, that's it. I did end up playing one more of his campaigns, and he ended up making Curse of Strahd kind of boring and just a grind. RIP to one of the best rated modules. Now I only have to deal with him as a player in a different group, and he's completely fine. Thanks for reading. Sorry it got long.
Why did you go down into that dungeon that I told you all of the items to progress the story were in?
You know that...
I don't know.
that who pointed the gun at the dude in this... Who could have done this?
Who could have done this?
The GM.
Who could have done this?
DM, who could have done this to my players?
Who could have done this to my players?
Yeah, like that's that. You know what? More than anything else, that's the most frustrating bit for me personally.
And to like openly be like, because you were the only one who knew when to run. Here's all these magic items.
It's like smart.
It's like we're all dead.
Yeah, damn. Come on.
Let's not rub the salt into the wound. I know. And we're all dead.
It sounds like Eric, for the most part, was gracious in his character's death too.
And you know what? You you're allowed to be frustrated.
Yeah, no, you are allowed
and
to
like
be frustrated.
like you said, like it wasn't the player that I should have taken out on. It's just like, do you want to know what? At the end of the day, you've been put in a bit of a dogger situation there.
Like, listen, you had to go there. You had to get it. Especially, you said the DM was very adamant about this.
This is how we progress the story.
And then the worst part is the DM being like, why were
you
even down
in that
there?
Dungeon? I don't know, because that's where you told us to go, and you are the person who has the story.
Yeah, that's the most annoying part of it all.
Oh my god.
Like,
why were you in there anyway?
Yeah, oh my god. Setting your players up to fail like that stinks. And to be fair, maybe... I think the only reason I can excuse the letting the cleric get out is to avoid a TPK, right?
Yeah, and that's fine.
That's the only thing. But then to be like, well done. Oh my god, you're so smart. Well done. You were the only one smart enough to run, and everyone rots in this dungeon. Yeah. Like, man, that stinks.
So stinky.
Bad.
Very smelly.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, that's stinky behavior.
Man, I would be so frustrated.
And again, you know, taking on a fight that you shouldn't have, I understand. But at the same time, I feel like the situations where you take on fights you shouldn't have is because you've made stupid decisions. Yeah. You haven't maybe read the clues properly. You're being pig-headed and you go for something, right? Not so much in a dungeon that your DM says you have to go in to get the thing to progress the story.
Yeah, like that should probably be the level that you are.
That should probably be a winnable fight.
That should probably be a winnable fight.
Hard but winnable fight.
It's like,
right?
it's like if things go wrong and then we have deaths, that's fine.
Completely.
But if it's like you've just put something too powerful in the dungeon and we die, even though you told us we need to go here to get the thing that we needed, that's on the dungeon master.
Completely agreed.
And the thing is, I think a lot of dungeon masters are a little too scared to say it. If something's just gone wrong, like take campaign 2 and everything that happened with the death that happened in that campaign, like there is nothing wrong, and Matthew Mercer does it himself, and I've done it to you guys quite a lot. When fights where you just keep rolling miss after miss after miss after miss, and the enemies can't stop critting, I'm like, this isn't looking good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying run, but, you know, if it keeps going this way, I think you should probably think about your other options.
Yeah, and
there's nothing wrong as a dungeon master with saying those things.
And again, because it would feel bad for you to have the enemy suddenly go easy on us. Like you giving us the warning, being like, look, if this keeps going that way, because I can't see a world in which you would ever have the enemy go lesser on us.
No, but me as a dungeon master will say those things to be like, they're looking healthy.
Exactly.
You're not in a good situation.
Exactly.
I would, consider your other options.
Yeah, I feel like running in a combat is something that is just not discussed as an option enough as it should be. Yeah. Like running away from a combat is absolutely a completely valid option, by the way.
People are like, well, that's not realistic. And it's like, just remember, it's a game.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Just remember, it's not real life.
Yeah.
And I understand that we like to make our games realistic, but we also have to understand that our player characters spent a lot of time and effort putting these, like, characters and stories together, and if we don't tell them that this is looking bad and then they die, sometimes like sometimes character deaths just happen and it's inevitable and there's nothing you can do, that's fine. But if you're on the road to a TPK and you know you are, and you don't just say like, this isn't looking good, then I think you maybe could have done a little bit more. Yeah,
and I completely understand if the DM was like, fuck, this is a TPK. Okay, I'm going to let one character get out, right? I totally understand that.
Totally understand it.
However,
until they
to be
said,
like, oh, well done. And then to be like, why the fuck are you down there anyway? Oh,
I don't know. Because you told me to go there.
That would
Dungeon Master.
That would have pissed me off, Eric. I really hope that cures that last 10% for you.
That's the 10%. Kicked off.
Yep. Get it out.
Wash it away. Just cleanse your brain.
Get it out.
Give your brain a nice little wring out.
Yeah. Like, like a dishcloth. Yeah. Get all them juices out. Yeah.
Squeeze it out.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your submission, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
All right. This is the last wholesome one.
The last one for today.
The last one. This has been sent in by Mahina, and she goes by she, her.
Thank you, Mahina.
Thank you so much, Mahina.
I think Mahina's in the Discord.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
She used to come to the watch parties quite a lot. Hello, love you both and the podcast so much.
We love you too. Thank you very much for being a part of the community.
My group is about to start our 3rd campaign together. My boyfriend is the DM, and there is 5 players, including myself. I feel like after our 2 campaigns and a crack at DMing a one-shot this year, I finally have a good feel for character building, roleplay, and playing the game in general.
Nice.
My boyfriend would never spoil anything for me, but he does love to talk about his world building, and we can spend hours going back and forth on character ideas, backstories, and everything else. He loves to write, so DMing has been a great outlet for his creativity, and I love supporting and taking part in it. He texted me while he was at work one day and said that he couldn't wait to tell me about his new world idea when he got home. It's a post-apocalyptic world with inspiration from Ready Player One and The Matrix. I tried my best to sound excited, but my face gave me away, and unfortunately, he got really bummed that I wasn't as involved in the conversation as I usually am. We talked it out, and though I couldn't take away his hurt feelings, I apologized and I let him know that I was just very nervous to create a character in a world like that. I'm not much of a sci-fi person, and though it would still technically be fantasy, I felt all the confidence I had in playing D&D fall away, and I would be back at square one, not knowing what the heck was going on. After a couple of days and letting it settle, a character finally came to me. We spent the entire morning working up a backstory and forming a personality for her like we normally do. I could tell he felt more comfortable telling me about his ideas and how my character could fit in. I felt more confident about the world and got really excited to start a campaign after the holidays. Our friends/players have also gotten the chance to talk with him, and they are also super into their character ideas, and I can tell all the excitement is bringing my boyfriend a lot of joy. I realized through all of this, I should have just trusted him and kept an open mind. He has always catered his world to our characters' ideas and backstories, and loves when we add flavor to our spells and features. It's just so obvious that his biggest payback of DMing is us just having fun. Jack and Margaret's voices were in my head, reminding me that DM is a player too, and if he is not excited about the world he's creating, it wouldn't be any fun for any of us anyway. He has been playing D&D longer than the rest of us, and I can see now that he just wants to try something new, and I want to encourage him to stretch those creative brain cells. I mentioned this in the Discord when I was making her, but my character is a goblin artillery artificer named Newt.
Let's go!
A literal trash goblin that is way cooler than I will ever be.
Sick.
What a wonderful story, Mahina. And
Unreal.
I'm not gonna lie, what you've said there, I feel like is word for word what I could have written for you. Like,
yeah.
You know, take away like the sci-fi element of it.
Yeah.
But I feel like this really resonates with me. It makes me a little bit emotional because it's very much how I view you.
Yeah.
Like, this is exactly, like, kind of word for word.
Yeah.
Our experience with D&D.
I was going to say there's a lot of parallels.
Very much so.
With our experience.
God, like, this could have been something I wrote about you, and I think everyone would have been like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I think everyone would have been like, yeah, absolutely. Like,
Margaret is my biggest fan.
I am.
Which, you know, always feels very good, and she's always very nice about me.
I am.
Yeah, like, to show, like, and to be honest, and just be like, sorry, it's just, like, not something that I've, like, because themes are important.
They really are.
And this, do you want to know what? It would be the exact same thing if I came to you and I was like, I've got this sci-fi one next.
Yeah.
I think you'd be like, oh, sick. Like, that's great. And
yeah.
You wouldn't be. But then I think you would trust me
very much
that I would make it something that you would enjoy and be interested in.
Very much
and then, but it's like it's the same thing. Like, we'll like sit down to watch something on TV and we'll pause the TV and be like, you know your backstory.
Yeah.
And then we'll just like talk for hours.
Yeah, literally, Mahina. Like, it's exactly the same here. Yeah. Like, we will talk for hours about like your campaign, about my character, about everything.
It's tough now because like this is the time where we can't really have the talks.
Yeah.
Because it's usually like halfway through the campaign when like bits have been revealed, and then you'll pause it and be like, so you know that thing that you said at this point, do you reckon it's something to do with this? And
I actually have 2 questions to ask you already.
Go on then.
Should I ask them? They haven't seen the campaign update yet, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll ask you after.
All right,
I'll ask you after. But literally, Mahina, you know how you were like, we started talking about my character and we started working out things, and then we would talk more, and a few days passed and I got more confident. Exactly the same. I'm exactly the same.
We talked. Blythe's backstory went through like a number of different changes.
Blythe's backstory changed quite drastically.
I think after we got the actual like meat of it down, it was only a few changes, like this or this or this or this.
Kind of like a week before we started, I was like, look, I actually want this changing.
Yeah.
Which I feel like was quite a big change.
Yeah.
But you know, because I trust you and you trust me, I always approached it like, we don't have to change this, but what would you think if we did? And I think because we work together, it's come out so much better than it has. And I feel like, you know, I can't speak for anyone else. I don't know kind of how in-depth your conversations go with anyone else, but I know exactly like Mahina says for her boyfriend here, you go around everyone individually and you ask them questions individually and they give you backstory and you there's a bit of back and forth.
Everyone knows that. I think everybody in our group knows that. Like, I'm interested, and the sooner you can get it to me, the more my brain can work.
Totally, yeah.
And the more because the thing is, like, and everyone works in a different way. Everyone works in a different way, and it's so weird because it's like, every time I have like a campaign epiphany or like a backstory epiphany, it's when I'm walking my dog.
Yeah.
So like, me and Bully go out on the daily just so I can like get the spicy brain going. Yeah. And I can start to think about it. Just, I have nothing else to do. Like, I'm just walking the dog. I don't have to think about anything, and then like, I can like I get a little bit frustrated sometimes when I'm sat at my computer.
Yeah, staring at a screen.
I'm like making excuses for myself, and then I'm just like, do you want to know what I need to do? I need to stop doing this. I need to walk the dog.
Go for a walk,
And when I walk the dog, like the ideas will come to me. Like, I think somebody else made quite a big change, like just before the campaign started, and because I already had an idea, I was like starting to get like frustrated and panicked, and I was like, oh man, like I thought of something great and I don't know how to like change it to fit this. What the dog came back and I was like, sorry.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
But yeah, like for this, the trust that you have in your partner is just all that a dungeon master really needs.
Truly. And you know, like you said, the biggest payback, and I can't speak for every DM, I know for you, is just seeing everyone being like, having a great time and being like, oh, like, I feel like that's what you enjoy the most.
That is the reason I do it. When the like plot lines like begin to like reveal or like pay off, and you guys are like, oh, man, and like I'm just like, that's all I ever wanted.
I want to know, Mahina, are you the conspiracy theorist as well? Like,
are you two the same person?
Yeah, are we, oh my God, are we the same person? Like, are you the conspiracy theorist where like, because obviously you talk to your partner the most about it, and obviously you don't get a leg up, you don't get any extra information in the same way I don't with you, but because you're talking about it so often, I find, I'm the note taker, always have been, always will be, no matter who the DM is. I find because I take the notes and we talk a lot, I'm like, is this
interesting?
And I leap to conclusions, insane conclusions,
leaps and bounds.
Hey, but sometimes I'm actually on the money and I just don't know it.
There's been a few times that you've been on the money. Yeah.
Like, I want to know, are you the conspiracy theorist too?
But that's amazing.
Yeah, what a beautiful relationship you have, and good on you for being such a supportive partner and being able to look past your own insecurities of, God, am I going to enjoy this? I don't like sci-fi, and being like, well, no, I trust him. Yeah, and he wants to do this, he has to be excited, and I feel like that's a strong foundation for a good relationship. 100%. So congratulations, Mahina.
Bit of trust.
Yeah.
Bit of trust. Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it needs.
Agreed. What a wonderful.
What a brilliant story.
What a lovely story.
Thank you, Mahina.
Yeah, thank you, Mahina. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone who has sent in your submissions. Thank you to everyone who has continuously been sending submissions over the Christmas period.
Send your submissions in.
Send your submissions in. It looks like we have less than we do because they're split between two different forms. But yeah,
all three different forms.
Yeah, well, it will be 3 different forms now because I set up a new form. But that's not for you to worry about. That's for me to worry about. Yes, please continue to send your stories in. Going forward, we're going to be, for X amount of reasons, some stories can't make it onto the podcast, right? I feel like the stories that can't make it onto the podcast, we can just read out on stream. You know what I mean? So hopefully we'll be able to kind of get through everything. There's some that no matter what we can't read out,
just because of the topics and things like that. Yeah,
but we're definitely going to be doing a segment like this on Twitch as well. And I feel like having the live reactions as we go as well will be awesome.
So thanks to everyone who's put in a submission. All the normal stuff. Hellbound stores down below. Our merch is down below. www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. We might be adding some new things to that soon, so keep your eyes peeled on that. And please, even if you aren't a Twitcher, if you aren't a live streamer, come and join us and see what you think.
Yes, please do.
On a Friday and a Sunday at 7 p.m. GMT.
Yeah, we'll be live tomorrow.
Just come and hang out and have a chat.
Yes.
We spend a lot of time just like reading what you have to say and things like that, and just interacting with you and having a good time. So please come and join us on Twitch on Monday and Friday. We'll be back to regular scheduled programming on YouTube. So a Monday video and a Thursday video. Sorry that we missed Monday, but we fancied a break. And I know that you will all have been very welcoming about that. So thank you very much.
Someone was like, blink twice if this is the entity.
I blinked 3 times.
Oh my God.
What does that mean?
Oh no. Who knows? Please follow Roberto Rowantor on Instagram, who did the art of Blythe. Please consider commissioning him. I swear this isn't sponsored.
Nope,
I absolutely
just a fantastic artist that we
really love his work and his work ethic.
Yeah. Thank you. I love you.
I love you.
Bully loves you. We've been the Eldritch Podblast, and we're going to see you on Monday. Bye.